So, in this podcast, we're going to get to the Chris Watts, the wedding, the visitor list. We're going to get to all that, and I'm also going to mention something about AD Armchair Detective and this ongoing so-called case with the Rusex. But I just want to touch on this first. I made this beautiful lavraki. It's a Greek-style sea bass on the weekend. And it's my favorite dish to have over summer because it's such an easy recipe. I usually have it with Greek style potatoes, but this time I had it with a potato salad, which I love potato salads. I think I'm going to eat potato salad all summer for the rest of summer. And I also, my other favorite thing to eat during the summer is paella, but I like it with lobster tail, octopus and duck. And it's hard to get though. It's hard to get octopus where I am. But anyway, this Greek style sea bass lavraki, and they call it branzino in the Italian American world, is just made. Basically, you just salt and pepper the fish, put it in the oven, put a few garlic cloves in there, and you do the fish depending on how much you're cooking. But I just cooked one each for each day. You do the fish, you cook the fish on about 175 for about 18 to 20 minutes, depending on how big the fish is, right? But before that, you would have made this lemony sauce, and the sauce has lemon, olive oil, oregano, a bit of thyme for me. That's my additional ingredient. Lots of garlic, a little bit of soy sauce because I put soy sauce in everything, and I put a bit of salt and pepper in it. And obviously, you have to salt and pepper the fish so the flavor comes out. It's such a simple dish. You just eat it with some delicious Greek potatoes, or like I said, potato salad. And it's the nicest, easiest summer dish you could ever have. I love sea bass. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite fishes, but it just comes out so perfectly. The other thing I want to talk about is this viral video with this CEO guy, Andy Byron, who was basically caught hugging his co-worker. Why has this video gone viral? Is this the first time a CEO, a man, a husband has been caught with his co-worker? I mean, what makes this so special? Can anyone answer that? I mean, why has this gone viral? I really don't get it. I really don't get it at all. Anyway, I'm going to get back to what I'm supposed to be talking about. I just wanted to say before I start on this Chris Watts wedding stuff, and I just want to make it clear that the information that I have, I got from about 3 different channels and 3 different sources, and nothing is necessarily written in stone. I got some of it from Plunder, some of it from another source, and some of the information has been disputed. So nothing has been written in stone there with the wedding and the visitor list and this mystery woman. It's a discussion, okay? But I want to say something about AD and his appeal. Now, it is not either breaking news or surprising that the AD is allowed to appeal the judgment against him. I think in every single case where there is a judgment made against somebody, they are allowed to appeal it. It's like a constitutional right or a right. Everyone is allowed to appeal when there is a judgment made against them, no matter what they've been, no matter what, they're allowed to appeal. So the fact that he has an appeal is no big deal. It's no great discovery. It's not a surprise. My issue with the whole thing, and this is probably why I was skeptical of the whole court case from the beginning, and I'm seeing this as a problem, an issue, is that he's been allowed to drag it out for so long. I don't think he should have been allowed to drag it out for so long. And, if he is allowed to drag it out, and he has been allowed to drag it out for so long, if he ends up not getting anywhere, even though he's been able to drag it out, it's just going to seem futile to me. And, this is just my opinion. The court case has not, I don't talk about it anymore. It's not my court case. It's not going to have any bearing on my life. It's not going to change my life for the worse or the better. But I do think, I have an opinion and I'm just voicing it. I do think it's sad that he's been able to drag it out. And if it leads to nothing, which basically I don't think it's going to lead anywhere, because I don't think he was going to pay the Rusex any money anyway. So So if it leads to nothing and he doesn't win the appeal, he has the appeal, but it's about him winning or losing it. If he doesn't win the appeal, then it's just a waste. It's just wasting time. And that is my opinion. I just think it's sad that he's been allowed to waste people's time. And this is part of the reason why I was skeptical about the case in the beginning, because I didn't think he would engage with the case. He didn't engage with the case. There was no case in terms of him appearing in court. He just wants to engage now because there's this judgment and he lost, so he's just trying to save face. But I think that the fact that he's been allowed to drag it out trying to save face, I think that's very unfortunate. So anyway, let me get on to the next phase of this podcast. Now, apparently, Chris Watts is going to get married, and he's going to get married to this woman. I'm not going to say what her name is, what her profession is. I'm not going to say, well, I'll put it this way. She became a regular visitor to Chris Watts, and was spending a lot of time visiting him. And from what I can tell of what it appears is that she comes from Cleveland, but relocated to be nearer to Chris. So she relocated to Wisconsin. She's a woman of color like me. I'm not sure if this is 100% true. I mean, I don't know if they're officially engaged or what. She's a little bit younger than him, not much. And she doesn't look anything like Nicole Kessinger or Shanann. Having said that, one thing she does have in common with Nicole Kessinger and Shanann is that she's got dark hair. He seems to like these dark-haired women. Some men prefer blondes, some men prefer brunettes, and others don't care what color their hair is. And apparently she's an entrepreneur and, very intelligent woman. That's what she's claiming from what I've gathered. So, I don't know if they're actually officially engaged or this is something that's in the works. And obviously people who get engaged or plan to get married, they can break up, can't they? So, I don't know if this wedding is absolutely going ahead, but apparently this new woman, became a visitor, an approved visitor of Chris Watts, and relocated to be nearer to him, and they apparently have a deep bond. And apparently Chris's parents don't approve, but that could change. I mean, they didn't approve of Shanann, did they? That could always change. I mean, I've got my own feelings about it, but like I said, nothing that I'm saying here is written in absolute stone. It's a lot of speculation. There's some dispute, and it's just a discussion. She's originally from Cleveland, but I don't want to say too much more about her other than that. But it sounds like it sounds serious.